In honor of the Fun Spot America parks being some of the first parks to open back up since the pandemic started back in March, I decided to review my experience there. Back in December of 2019, I stayed in Florida for most of my winter break and wanted to get as many coaster credits as my time and money allowed for. My best option to do this was to visit both Fun Spot America parks in Orlando and Kissimmee, Florida. I wasn't expecting much from either park, but I actually had a great time at both. This is my experience at Fun Spot America on December 30th, 2019. Since single admission to both parks is about $60 and the season pass to both is only $100, I went with the season pass and did not regret it. I started my day at Fun Spot Kissimmee to marathon Mindblower, not Mindblower, which may have been a better name, but Mindblower, like a gold mine, the park's Gravity Group Woody built in 2017. Over the course of my morning, I got 10 rides on it, which admittedly gave me quite the headache. The park was dead, so I think my longest wait was maybe 5 minutes. Mindblower is extremely intense and photogenic with its corkscrew, but can be a bit rough for being such a new coaster. This ride focuses on laterals and overbanked turns, which really moves you around in your seat. You get pretty good airtime on the drop, good hang time on the inversion, and a couple little pops of airtime throughout the ride. Mindblower is extremely fun. I just wish it were a bit smoother so I could truly ride it again and again without any discomfort. The other coasters at the park are okay. They fit well in the lineup of a small family amusement park, but don't really compare to Mindblower. The other coasters at the park are Hurricane, aptly named Kiddie Coaster, and Galaxy Spin, or Rockstar Coaster, or Power Trip Coaster? Well, whatever it's called now, it's a Zamperla spinning wild mouse similar to Ragin' Cajun at Six Flags America. I got 2 rides on it, and it's actually pretty fun. I had an out-of-control ride with plenty of spinning, so it sits solidly in Fun Spot's lineup. The next coaster I rode was the Kiddie Credit, which is a Sea Serpent style E&F Myler kiddie coaster, which was as expected. Luckily, I rode this when the park was still pretty empty, so I got the credit and got out of there. The newest coaster at Kissimmee is Hurricane, which was installed just a few days before my visit. Hurricane is actually located just outside of the park at the neighboring Fun Spot owned Old Town USA, which is basically a Western style area full of gift shops. Hurricane is also an E&F Myler, but is not a kiddie coaster, and was formerly Viking Voyage at Wild Adventures in Valdosta, Georgia. I wasn't expecting much from Hurricane, which is basically a parking lot coaster, but my 2 rides on it were awesome. The drops on Hurricane actually offer some pretty decent airtime. Fun Spot America parks are also well known for their flat rides and go-karts. Even though I didn't have enough time to ride any of the flats, I did get to try out one of the 2 interlocking go-kart tracks called Chaos, which I had a lot of fun on. The cool thing about Fun Spot Kissimmee is that it's totally open, there's no fences or security gates, and it has multiple entrance and exit points. Before leaving, I got one more quick ride on Mindblower and headed for Fun Spot Orlando. The great thing about many parts of Florida nowadays is that they have Wawa, which is one of my favorite places to eat in the Northeast. So I stopped for lunch at a Wawa right across the street from Disney World. I arrived at Fun Spot Orlando around 2 o'clock and immediately got on the park's GCI Woody White Lightning, which, like Mindblower, is an amazing wooden coaster, but a completely different experience. While Mindblower focuses on laterals and overbanked turns, White Lightning is an airtime machine. It has multiple double-ups and double-downs throughout its layout. GCI did an amazing job with White Lightning, and I also got 10 rides on it. Orlando was a bit crowded, so I usually had to wait 5 to 10 minutes each time I rode White Lightning, but I didn't mind at all. Quick story, on my last ride of the day, I actually sat next to one of the owners of a different park, Will Morey, co-owner of Morey's Piers in Wildwood, New Jersey. Mr. Morey must have been there to see how well White Lightning was running and is maybe planning to get Great White retracked by GCI. On top of that, after our ride, the woman sitting in front of us introduced herself as the ride designer's wife, Mrs. Jeff Pike. The man who designed White Lightning, Jeff Pike, has also designed many other GCI masterpieces, like Mystic Timbers at Kings Island and Gold Striker at California's Great America. What a crazy coincidence that I rode on the same train as both of them. What a great ride. The next coaster at Fun Spot Orlando is a Vekoma suspended family coaster called Freedom Flyer. This was my first credit on this type of Vekoma suspended coaster, and I actually had a lot of fun on it. The transitions were whippy, and the helix at the end was way more intense than I expected. It's a solid ride and a great introductory coaster to get kids on bigger rides. The last credit of the day was Sea Serpent, pretty much the exact same kiddie coaster as Kiddie Coaster at Kissimmee just flipped over. I found it kind of funny that for some reason both FunSpot Kiddie Coasters have matching animal statues. Orlando has a rhino and Kissimmee has a hippo. It's odd theming, but looks nice regardless. What's ironic about this so-called credit on Sea Serpent is that I actually already had the credit. I was doing some research a couple weeks ago and found out that this same Sea Serpent Kiddie Coaster used to be at Playland's Castaway Cove in Ocean City, New Jersey. So I thought I had gotten 2 credits when in reality I only had 1. So just like that, I went from 140 coasters to 139. The Orlando location also has multiple go-kart tracks, and I rode the Quad Helix track, which was a lot of fun. Like Kissimmee, I didn't have time for flat rides, but Orlando has a screamin' swing and a pretty big Ferris wheel, which I'll definitely hit up the next time I visit. All in all, FunSpot America, both Orlando and Kissimmee, were much better than I expected. I went into my day thinking that they were rinky-dink, glorified carnivals, and if they didn't have their wooden coasters, they probably would be just that. But since they do have Mindblower and White Lightning, FunSpot is definitely a destination for coaster enthusiasts and families. These parks land just outside my top 10 parks that I've been to so far. But since I have that season pass, I'll be sure to go again this year when I go back to Florida. That's all for today's park review. What are your thoughts on FunSpot America? Comment down below what you think of Mindblower and White Lightning, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to Coaster Jawn. Thanks so much for watching, and ride on!